The information discussed in this PILCast episode are merely opinions and do not constitute formal policy or legal guidance of any kind. Hello, and welcome to another PILCast episode, the video blog where we talk about federal important procurement innovation concepts in 10 minutes or less. We guarantee it. I'm David Jablonski with the Department of Homeland Security's Procurement Innovation Lab. And today I'm joined by a special guest, Dr. Thomas Kull at Arizona State University. Dr. Kull, thank you for joining me today. Can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Sure, no problem. Happy to be here. I'm a professor of supply chain management. I've been doing this for 15 years, spent previous to that 13 years in industry, and I've been very fascinated by the innovations and what's happening, really progress being made in the federal government, particularly Homeland Security. And I've been working with Homeland since 2018, and a lot of exciting things going on.
So today, everyone, we have a real special episode. We're here to talk about culture and studying culture within the contracting organizations within agencies. And at DHS, we run a special culture assessment every year called the Competing Values Framework Assessment. So we can learn more about what's working well and things that can be improved with the procurement experience. And Dr. Kull has been helping us with our research for this for the past 6 years. And so why is it that we at DHS, why are we trying to measure culture of the organization with this survey tool?
So my specialty is in what's called social technical systems. So it's how techniques and social systems interrelate. And a big part of any organization is its culture. And there's a great saying that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And what that basically means is that when you're trying to put something in place, if it's going against the grain of the culture, you're going to run into a lot of issues. And it's better to work with the culture that you have and then figure out how to make changes as appropriate. And so many companies and organizations have learned to you can't change and you can't understand what you don't measure. And so measuring culture is one of the first steps in understanding how to make it work in that interplay of social and technical and techniques that you're really trying to do to improve procurement.
Got it. Now, so we're measuring culture with this survey tool. And now I know there's another big survey tool that's out there, the Federal Employee Viewpoint Survey. So how is this tool that DHS is using, this survey that we're using here at DHS, how is it different from the Federal Employee Viewpoint Survey? And why is this tool just as important as that one?
Well, they have things in common. I mean, they're both trying to tap into key areas of the organizational perspective and the experience that people have. There are really two main differences. One is that FEVS is, I guess, assessing the vertical or within your organization, wherein the CVF is more of a stakeholder approach, and it's horizontal and vertical, meaning that it's looking at the stakeholders of the procurement process. So the program office, policy office, procurement attorneys, these others that are involved that definitely have a stake in the process. So the CVF does that. And that provides a lot of insights. We like to call it the 3 U's: who you are, who others think you are, and who you really are. And you try to figure out what that all tells you. The other thing about the CVF is that it asks those who are responding to implement trade-offs or assess. Not everything can be 100% valued or important. So it asks them to provide the appropriate relative importance among the questions asked.
What are the things that are being asked from the people, and what are we trying to learn as part of this cultural survey tool?
There are 4 higher order values, what they're called. And this is a tool, by the way, that's been in place out in the general public for 30, 40 years. It's been validated around the world and in many different organizations, private, public, and whatnot. And so the main theory behind it, or the intentionality, is that it asks along 4 areas that are all important to every organization, but they have some inherent tensions. They are process control, innovation, human relations, and mission outcomes. Those four can create some tension between process control and innovation, or human relations and mission outcomes. They don't always. Sometimes one can be sacrificed for the other, and so it's a more realistic view of how to balance these. And I think that the PIL has done is recognize that and help the Homeland Security recognize that, and it allows for some really great conversation.
So how is DHS using the CVF assessment to study its culture?
Well, probably the biggest thing it's being used for is to generate those conversations that I mentioned. What we do is I participate in these, and after we collect all the data and we provide the summary statistics, we then go back to the various components and show them the results. And we ask them, well, what does this mean for you? What does this tell you? What can be done that you think it needs to be done, or are you happy with where you are? And it's just a conversation starter. And through discussions, we're learning from the various components, and they're learning some insights from us. And I think that then furthers the I guess sophistication around trying to implement new technologies in various cultures.
What are some things that I guess you've learned that you've taken away, seen in the research itself, since this CVF assessment was started here at DHS?
Well, yeah. So the theory is, or the knowledge, I guess, or you call it the science behind this, is still evolving. I mean, we're constantly learning more, and so through what we've done, new things have emerged. And one of the unique elements that really Homeland Security is being on the forefront of is looking at this over time, continually, and looking at the dynamics of culture change. One of the first things we learned was that we set a goal of where we want to hit. We essentially create a profile of a target culture, and we found that as you approach the goal, there seems to be this increased difficulty to resolve some of those inherent tensions, and that was new. We didn't know. We had somewhat of an intuitive sense of where that would be, that it would happen, but we didn't know where that would be, when that would happen. So we're starting to learn a little bit more on that, and we're also learning these higher order values are what we call tightly coupled, wherein if we learned that human relations and innovation have what we call a tight coupling. In other words, they're highly correlated. If one has a difficult time moving up or down without the other, and so they're in a bit lockstep. And we're working on the understanding and really how to bring the science to this, but also to learn what's going on really at Homeland.
Now, what recommendations do you have for other agencies about studying their culture?
Well, one of the things that we've learned also that can influence the recommendations is that small things make a difference. We're learning that when you change the work schedule, when you modify the way people communicate, I mean, these all eventually have an influence on the social system of an organization. So the first thing I'd recommend is to learn what culture is, why it matters. There's a lot of great work out there already. You can understand that a little bit more, and then start to think about what methods can you use that are actionable. What you want to do is measure something and then make plans around those measurements.
That's great feedback for everybody. Well, thank you, Dr. Kull, very much for joining this meeting here today to learn more about the CVF assessment and studying culture within DHS. Thank you all, everyone out there, for watching this video. Please be sure to share this video, like it with your friends. Also, check out the comments. We'll add that information about the STS theory and that information on there so you can learn more about it. Thank you again, and see you all on the next PILCast episode. Bye now.